I don't know. I think there's been like one game. I can recall one game in all the tournaments where I'm like, yeah, he kind of screwed up, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like one game.
Dude, honestly, I think it's just the sheer amount of games. Like, not only do they queue up together a lot and play together a lot, but Asper is always queuing. If his team's not online, he is queuing with whomever. You know what I mean? He puts in the games, and you gotta say it pays off for him. He's like one of the most known, if not the most known, Moonkin in the North America, for sure. Maybe even in the world, because he streams and he faces a lot of the top streamers, and his damage is just bananas. So
He's the only one that didn't sell out.
he's the only one that didn't sell out. But yeah,
Everyone else that played Moonkin sold out and went rested.
that's true. They all went resto, man. They all went resto. I don't know, but Asper holding out for that Boomkin dream here on Method Black, and he's been so successful with it in the past, like winning so much. But Donut, they came into the very first tournament as the qualifier team. They made it in the tournament. Oh no, they actually didn't. They just barely didn't have to go through the qualifiers. They were one of the lowest seeded teams, and they dominated. I mean, they got 4th place, but they pulled out some crazy plays, and they have so much cleave pressure. It's definitely going to be. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a one-sided matchup, to say the very least. All right, we're just waiting on Team Donut. Are we going to see balance come out here in the very first game, or are we going to see... Yeah.
Well, actually, this is what I mean. I remember watching a match, and Floria was actually... It was the first time I was listening to him rage. I think he was actually streaming. And I think it was Feral DK.
Oh.
So, I mean, if that's the case, well, my memory isn't working right now. It was either Windwalker DK or Feral DK, but there was like a series of like 6 games in a row against one of those comps where they were just losing over and over and over with Floria getting trained. And I for some reason think it was the Feral DK.
Yeah, I mean, they have like those 2 like cleavy compositions available to them, and they were able to step to like some of the best teams in North America, playing like God comps, playing like RMDs and stuff like that, like compositions that are pretty common, you know, in the highest ratings. And then we just saw this one Windwalker DK, and they did very well. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to continue on here in tournament number 3, and we're going to be queuing up very shortly. Of course, everybody, the first map of this best of 5 series is going to be on the Grand Arena. And then from there, it's going to be loser's advantage, not only for map, but also for composition, if they have it available to them. But something to note is make sure to follow these boys on Twitter. All their Twitters are right there, available for you to follow. If you want to see them stream from some awesome points of view, from a Holy Paladin point of view, from Boomkin point of view, which is a rarity, and of course Rosita Jones plays all sorts of different compositions, as well as Cyfoxy in Balance has that Windwalker Monk point of view and Cyfoxy's Feral point of view. Make sure to follow him up on Twitter. But here we go. It's game number 1. It's Donut versus Method Black. And as you can see, we have Rosita Jones representing that Frost Mage, Asper on the Boomkin, Feloria on the Holy Paladin, going up against Donuts, Feral Deathknight Holy Paladin composition, Cyfoxy on that Feral Druid, Jeff on that Deathknight, and Kappa on the Holy Paladin. So they're sticking with the Feral DK composition against Method Black.
I'm curious what strategy they play, if they're just going to go SM work again on Floria, or if they're going to split, maybe do what we saw similar in the last series, where Method Orange was kind of gripping Asper behind pillars, trying to kill him in a stun. They can do that as well. I think Floria is going to be the main target for Donut here in game number 1, and they need to keep momentum against this team. Obviously, Asper and Rosita aren't going to let them do that for free. Already getting freedomed on his mount. Jeff crossing the map right after Feloria, who is waiting in the starting area as far back as possible. Jeff's just getting annihilated. Has to pop that. They break the AMS instantly. So much damage following it off. Icebound Fortitude, Saved by the Light is going to proc. Asper trinketing out to keep the momentum rolling. Kappa still getting sheeped up. Swap over onto Cyfoxy. Onto that half Hodge. Kappa gets a nice heal. Feloria getting pressured as well. Gets a nice heal onto himself as well. Asper sitting through that full fist of justice. Doesn't look like Feloria is able to dispel it. Just trying to recover and deal with the burst. So much damage from both sides early on. Let's see how they recover and deal with it once their avenging wraths fall down.
Yeah, Flory actually kicked Cyfoxy while trying to cast in the middle of that on the Cyclone. So nice job by Flory having that presence of mind even in some dire situations. But it looks like both teams have stabilized for now, but Jeff is not going to let Floria get away, not that easily. There's a deep freeze onto Kappa going out, and it's going to get bubbled right away because Cyfoxy did get hodged. Kappa worried about that Moonkin Mage setup. Floria actually getting interrupted on that Ward of Glory is going to force the bubble out. Donut getting that defensive cooldown, and that's a big defensive cooldown indeed. 15 15 seconds left on the execution sentence, but he has no bubble or trinket available to him, just bops. And if Jeff can dispel one of those bops, Furia could be in a lot of trouble moving forward. Aura Mastery's going to fade. Cyfoxy actually getting cloned up on his incarnation. It's going to fade as well. Jeff has Hand of Protection or Hand of Sacrifice on him to try to help Kipo break out of the CC coming out, and it actually does break that polymorph, which is a really big deal. Furia, Saved by the Light, is going to proc on himself, going to use that execution sentence, but he's not out of the water just yet. Not at all. He gets interrupted on that cast. He gets DR Hodged. Is this going to be it for Furia? He gets bopped, but still the magic damage from Jeff is going to be coming out, but Jeff just getting peeled non-stop, allowing Furia to keep that bop for a short period of time, and maybe that's all he needed. Looks like it is, and he's going to stabilize for now.
Yeah, 1 second clone keeps him alive until his Avenging Wrath right now, which he surely needs to use. Solar Beam dropped onto Cyfoxy. Kappa has his Trinket. He has to be careful how he deals with the situation. Trinket's a full poly into a re-poly. Cyfoxy going for the kill. Locks Valoria on his heel, now into the stun, but Cyfoxy is in trouble as well. As we're getting cloned up, Jeff stealing that clone. We can see the bop for Valoria. He's actually using the Berserk. Seems like he's spaced out his cooldowns. Full Fist of Justice. Valoria is surely going to fall. He's down at 21% HP, barely staying alive. Kappa trying to finish him off with those Hammer of Wrath. Full Strangulate now at 10% HP. Hammer of Wrath from Kappa actually wins the game. And Donut are going to take it. We can see that Method Black aren't giving up. Full sleep on the Kappa. Cyfoxy trying to survive. His Saved by the Light is going to get shredded through. Down at 35%. Kappa connects a big heal. Trying to keep him alive. Still a lot of damage. Cyfoxy, I'm not sure if he DC'd.
I think he's DCing. Are you kidding me? Oh, he comes back from the DC. Kappa's still being put through those cyclones. Cyfoxy's not out of the water just yet. Hodge goes out onto Asper, and I cannot believe Cyfoxy is alive right now. Did the DC actually save him?
I don't know.
Is that even a thing? Oh my gosh! I think he just dies anyway if the damage is done, like while he's DCing. But here we go. Furia actually going down. I'm gonna go ahead and watch that replay. Furia staying alive for such a crazy long period of time with non-stop pressure on himself, with a Feral Druid constantly being peeled, and you see that the denounced Hammer of Wrath coming in hot from Kappa is gonna land the first kill, and Donut taking game number 1 against Method Black. I saw some people in chat saying that was going to be Method Black 3-0. I bet you're eating your words right now, aren't you?
Oh, you're calling the chat out. That's
I'm
never a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. I love you, chat. I love you.
Never a good idea.
Kappa. Jeff's transmog carried him. That must be it. Alright, guys, we're going to be going into game number 2, and it's Method Black's choice of a map. Do you think we're going to Tolvaron? I feel like Tolvaron is just kind of like the go-to map against Jeff's team.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. Runes of Order could backfire. I disagree. I disagree entirely. I 100% disagree. Runes of Order would not be.
No.
No. No.
Can you please elaborate on why?
I think Valoria will flop.
Oh, on Tolvaron?
Or no, sorry, didn't you say runes?
No. I said Tolvaron.
I swear you said runes.
Did I say ruins or Tolvaron, chat? Who's right? Who's wrong here?
DDoS my brain, dude.
DDoS my brain. Lag switch, DQ them, please. So obnoxious. But they lost. Oh wait, no, they won. But still, they were like ahead. No, that was not. I feel like that was not intentional. D-Machine hates it when we type Jinx. Then that's not true. Shout out to our sponsor Jinx for making GCD Pro League a possibility. But we're gonna be jumping into game number 2 here. Did I say ruins or? Oh, now people are just spamming ruins. Did I say? I think I said ruins of Tolvaron.
I heard ruins, and that's all I heard. So
well, guess what map it is, everybody? It's Tolvaron Arena. It's ruins of Tolvaron. Welcome everyone to Ruins of Tolvaron. It's Donut versus Method Black.
Alright, it's not actually Ruins of Tolvaron. No. We're gonna have to stop. We're confusing people.
We are confusing people. It's Donut going up against Method Black, and both teams sticking with the same compositions. But I have to say, Method Black's burst damage on Jeff, was annihilating his AMS shield instantly, was pretty remarkable. You don't see that every day.
I play Boomkin, and I can tell you I see that every day.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, here we go. I agree. Tolvaron is my favorite map intro as well, Renergy. But here we go. The game has started, and it looks like they're going to start on to Jeff right away. Jeff trying to push in to Floria all the way back in Narnia. And he's going to have a hell of a time getting there. He's going to wait for his team a little bit, and now he's connecting finally. But this worked out for him pretty well last time. Deep Freeze goes out onto Kappa. It's going to be a free polymorph out of that, and Kappa's just going to go ahead and bubble right away, keeping his team offensive. Asper going to go ahead and trinket out of that Hodge as well. And it looks like Floria is desperately trying to hold on to his cooldowns for now. Aura Master coming out on that silence. And Wing's execution sentence is going to top himself off right here. And now Method Black is looking to turn this pressure around.
Asper actually is playing Incarnation, so he's dropping the Trent roots. This comp has a lot of freedoms. He wants the extra burst. You can see that it's insurmountable right now. Asper getting cloned up by Cyfox, a really well-timed clone, but he still has Celestial Alignment. Still a few more seconds of Incarnation. I'm curious if he's going to pair them together. He's looking for a clone here. Incarnation has now faded, so I guess he's spacing the cooldowns out instead of overlapping them. Interesting decision from Asper, so he still actually has a lot of damage available there shortly. He's getting shut down pretty hard, though, with these stuns from Cyfoxy. We can see the Incarnation doing a lot of damage to Floria now from Cyfoxy. Kappa getting full sheep, but Floria is still the one in trouble, desperately trying to cling on to life, and this is the most pressure I've seen on Floria throughout any tournament, and he's just really struggling right now. Down at 16%, he goes for the Fist of Justice. He's forced to bubble. Cyfoxy trinkets, he gets his survival instincts. Still a lot of damage available from Asper with that alignment. He gets solar beamed on the clone. Kappa free casting some heals. We see the desperate strangulate actually onto Asper to try and stop some damage. Floria gets bashed. He's trinkets that right away. Full bleeds are up, caught in that half Fist of Justice. Jeff reconnecting here onto Floria. He's got bops remaining, but he's on Forbearance, and Floria's gonna flop. Donut are gonna take a 2-0, and I mean, Twitch chat, you guys thought Method Black was gonna 3-0, but Donut have some damage.
They got some damage indeed.
Donut. Damage-filled donut.
Damage-filled
Damage-filled donut.
All right, there we have it. Floria having a hell of a time healing through all of this, and regardless of the talent change, the Incarnation from Asper, he did have additional bursts, but that's not what they needed. And down Floria goes. Game number 2 goes to Donut, and all of a sudden Method Black is just one game away from being knocked down to that lower bracket. All right.
This is what I mean. This is what I saw. I guarantee this is what I saw. I remember seeing Floria, I think, was streaming, and they were losing to this, and it was really hard. He was just getting trained out every game, and now I'm like deja vu mode right now watching it again.
Deja vu mode indeed. I wonder if Chanimals might not be available to play. He might be out of town or something.
He is, I think, still.
That's a big deal. I mean, not having that fourth player, it's a big deal, especially when you're going up against a comp like this where you need to change up your composition potentially. I don't know. It's not working out for him too well. But here we go. We're going to jump into game number 3 of this best of 5 series. Can Method Black pull it back? Here we go. It's Tiger's Peak. Sally, Foxy, Jeff, and Kappa sticking with the same composition. Feral, DK, Holy Paladin going up against Method Black, sticking with their same composition. What do you think Method Black needs to do different? I mean, it's very difficult to peel both of these classes.
Yeah, I think it's just a race. They have to kill Cyfoxy or Jeff faster than Floria is going to die. It seems like if they try and peel for him, obviously they can't polymorph Cyfoxy. Jeff has a lot of trinkets. Kappa is going to be using all of his freedoms on Jeff because Cyfoxy is already passively kind of immune to roots. So
right.
I like that Asper is adjusting and running the Incarnation instead. He knows that he can't peel. There's no point in running the Force of Nature Trent, so he's trying to get a little bit of extra damage. I thought it was interesting that he used the Incarnation first. I mean, he baited a lot of cooldowns. Like, they got Icebound, AMS. Actually got quite a lot, and I thought that the Celestial Alignment afterwards later was going to be a lot more fruitful, but it didn't end up being. And so I think if they do that again, obviously Asper's going to be looking to set up a little bit more damage with the Celestial Alignment, following it up if he decides to space his cooldowns.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of that Incarnation kind of Berserk sort of scenario, you know? They got defensive cooldowns, but even when Celestial Alignment was up, it just wasn't enough. Floria, once again, way back. He wants to make this double melee team work for it, and it looks like Jeff is trying to get there, but he is a slow turtle of a Deathknight, taking a bit of pressure. Ice Nova's coming out onto him as well. Asper actually getting hopped up. He's not going to trinket it right away. silence goes out into Floria. He's not going to Aura Mastery just yet. He's trying to hold on to it, but maybe that's not the right choice. Wings Execution Sentence coming out from Floria, catching a huge heal, and Kappa actually bubbling to keep his team completely offensive. Now caught into the half polymorph as Cyfoxy's dipping lower and lower. Now the full Cyclone lands on a Kappa, and Cyfoxy's wall is going to be fading very, very shortly. Cyfoxy at 20% health here, gets down to 1%, saved by the light procs. Trinket Execution Sentence is going to save Cyfoxy, but he hit 1% health. You know he is just doing one of those, whoo, that was close for you, actually getting locked out, and that's going to force a bubble.
Yep, and Asper now popping his Incarnation. He does not have Celestial Alignment to pair with it, so it's not as big of a boost. It doesn't look like he actually has any Star Surges available either, so the Incarnation not going to be doing too much damage just yet. If they can keep this chain going on Kappa, maybe they can get a kill here on the Cyfoxy, but Cyfoxy still is Incarn. Big pressure on a Floria. Looks like a clone over on the Asper. Floria dipping low here. Pops the Aura Mastery, trying to get some casts off. Dispels that Soul Reaper. Still in trouble. Freedom sprinting across the map. Down at 27%. Cyfoxy reconnects, but Cyfoxy overextending a bit. Down at 19, caught into that full fist of justice, and finally, Method Black are going to pull a game back. Jeff is not giving up, though. Does not look like he's going to be able to finish him off, though, with that bash over onto Jeff. Floria will survive, and you can see now, I think that they've kind of adapted the strategy of like, yeah, we can't peel and drag this out. We need to race them, and now that they've adjusted and they're starting to race, they're able to get a win here.
Question is it already too late, though, to make this realization? Donut just has to win one game.
I don't know. I think if they figure it out and they can still win. That looked much more convincing. I mean, they had the right amount of damage and they forced the other team to overlap cooldowns, so that's what they really needed to do.
Right. All right, everybody, we're going to be going into game number 4 of this best of 5 series as Method Black takes another game off, or the first game off of Donut, and all of a sudden we have ourselves a series. Holy crow. Ruins incoming. I feel like that's a safe assumption, African Turtles. I do think that's a safe assumption. But here we go. We're going to be jumping into game number 4 potentially. And you know, what if it goes to game number 5? I wouldn't put it by them. I feel like Method Black is one of those teams that's notorious for being able to adapt, sticking with it, and making things happen. So we're going to be going in as they keep their heads together and go into this is the second round of the upper bracket between Method Black and Donut. The winner of this series gets to go on to face Cloud9 in the semifinals tomorrow. But the winner of this series will dip down to face Tempo Storm in that lower bracket, and that's just not a place you want to be. In the lower bracket, you have to win an entire additional series to make it to that finals, and you're potentially on the line for being eliminated in every series, so that's just not a place any of these teams really want to be. Can they do it? Can Method Black come back from this deficit, or is Donut going to show them what's what going into tournament number 3? And looking fairly good. Donut's owning. Shout out goes to Donut.
Is really good, and I think that I think though with the maps that they have left that it's going to be a little bit more helpful for them, but regardless, the series is going to end pretty quick. Even if Method Black don't lose this, I think no matter what, these games are going to end within like the first 2 minutes, first 2.5 minutes, somewhere like that. But the teams have a lot of damage, a lot of stuns, a lot of CC from one side, and it's just going to make the game really quick. So you guys need to make sure that you're awake. Don't fall asleep, Twitch chat. This is not a time to Resident Sleeper. This is a time to PogChamp.
This is time to PogChamp. Alright, but before we go into this game, I just want to give a quick shout out to all our new subscribers, Crack Z, House Sharks, and Frazzy Jenkins 97. Thank you guys for all the new subs. We're at 138 subs out of our 200 goal. Just a reminder, at our 200 goal, we're going to have that 1v1 tournament. So thank you guys so much for all that. And a $5 donation comes from Sturge's dad. And he says, please buy Sturge a beer for me for taking it like a man. Shout out goes to my good buddy Absturge. But here we go. It's game number 4. It's Method Black versus Donut. Cyfoxy, Jeff, and Kappa are looking to make this game theirs. This whole series theirs, I should say, by winning just one more game. But Method Black seems to find their stride with their new strategy. But can they do it 2 times in a row? Here we go. Gates have opened.
Yep, Kappa getting towards the box. Jeff, Flori's actually just still in the pipe. He is going to get bounced out Super Mario style right into Foxy's clutches, and Foxy is ready and prepared for that. Now actually retreating away from the Incarnation, but that still isn't the Celestial Alignment. Asper's holding on to that, trying to space out the cooldowns. Foxy reconnecting over onto Floria. Jeff actually split DPSing on Asper for right now. We can see Incarnation still up for Asper. Is he going to pop the alignment? Doesn't look like he is just yet. Floria still the primary target, obviously. Kappa actually choosing to bubble out of that incoming crowd control. Floria forced to Aura Mastery. He should be able to top himself here, but forcing that bubble so early from Kappa is very important for Method Black.
There's a deep freeze out of that bubble, man. And nothing to follow it up. Half polymorph as Foxy's put through the Hodges as well. He cannot wall while stunned. Saber the Light's going to proc, but they rip through it, but the execution sentence is going to top him right off, and now they're jumping right back onto Floria. His wings are going down in just 8 more seconds, but Floria has a lot of buttons to deal with it. He actually does get interrupted there, taking a whole bunch of pressure as well. This is the Incarnation coming out from Foxy. Not quite the Berserk just yet. Full polymorph lands onto Kappa, though. Foxy's got to be careful. Trinket execution sentence going to be forced out on Floria as the Berserk is used now. Saber the Light being procced, and they're just ripping right through it. The Hodge goes out into Foxy as Kappa's being put through all the CC. He trinkets into a full Cyclone. Foxy might have to wall here, but he's actually going to force Floria's bubble at the same time. He got the defensive cooldowns that he needed, and he's just going to line of sight for now.
Yeah, Kappa still getting crowd controlled. Hodge dispelled on Asper. Jeff trying to build up some momentum here. That disease stacking up slowly but surely. Gets gripped back. Do they have a stun? Doesn't look like they do. Kappa's into the polymorph. Unable to Hodge. There's the bash instead. Floria could easily go down. He's on forbearance. The strangulate silence as well. And Floria is surely going to go down. But Foxy at the same time. Caught into the bash. Caught into the half fist of Furia. Floria at 7. Foxy at 15. Who is going to fall first? Foxy falls. Floria falls at the same time in a sudden death moment. Now we're into the 2v2 situation between Jeff, Kappa, and Rosita Jones and Asper to decide potentially if Donut progresses.
Oh my gosh, Method Black, everything's on the line right here. They could potentially be knocked out and knocked down to that lower bracket right here, right now, and they don't want that at all. Kappa actually getting full polymorphed up, but the Hand of Sacrifice is going to be stolen, and it looks like they're trying to set up onto Jeff. They're ripping through that AMS for now. Rosita Jones and Asper as 2 DPS versus DPS healer. This is an uphill battle for sure. Can they land the CC they need onto Kappa? Whole bunch of pressure falling in onto Jeff, catching some execution sentence heals. Triple DR polymorph onto Kappa is... they need to wait. They need to survive and wait for these DRs to fade. Full Hodge goes out onto Asper. How did that? Oh yeah. And the polymorphs onto Jeff. Asper knows that Asper and Rosita Jones know that they need to survive. They know that they need to wait for their setup to be able to make this work. So they're just constantly running away. They're constantly peeling. And just look at Jeff, the little turtle.
Look at Jeff, man. It feels so bad, man. Just marching across. Caught into the bash, actually. He's in a bit of trouble. Icebound Fortitude AMS comes out. He's staying aggressive, though. He needs to keep damage rolling on Asper. Strangulate grips him back. He's unable to displace just yet, but that Death Grip being down means that Asper has free reign. Now popping the Incarnation maybe to try and rotate some pressure. He's moving over to Kappa. Looks like Kappa is actually getting targeted. Interesting selection for Method Black, but they're actually just rotting down, and I think Jeff's just happy to keep them dotted and sit at the pillar for right now. Kappa and Jeff are on opposite sides of the map, and I'm curious what's going on. Maybe they just want to trade reses?
Oh
I don't actually know what's going on.
Maybe they want to trade reses, but I don't think Donut would ever go for that. But here we go. Wings coming out from Kappa as he trinkets out of that CC into a half polymorph. Asper caught into the full Hodge, however. This has got to be it for Method Black. Asper at 4% health here, and he goes down. And that means Donut is going to take game number 4 in advanced on, knocking down Method Black to that lower bracket. And that's hell of an upset if I ever did see one.
I don't think it's an upset.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Let's take a quick look at that replay. The bash going out onto Floria. Keep an eye on Foxy as well. The bash onto him. Floria being put into the silence out of that. Both of them getting so low. The Hodge now onto Foxy as Cap is put through all the CC chains. And Floria using that bot, but it doesn't matter. Too little, too late as both of the DPS go down. And there you have it. Donut getting that healer DPS composition advantage in the 2v2 is going to take game number 4. And there it is. Let's take a quick look at that bracket. Oh, baby. Here's the bracket. I can show it to you. I promise. Here we
Can
go.
you, though? Can you-
It's Cloud9 versus Donut in the semifinals tomorrow. Make sure you guys are tuning in for that. Can Donut take on the #1 seeded team with their crazy amounts of burst pressure? Or is Cloud9 going to reign supreme again with another 3-0 victory? That's coming in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, everybody. So make sure to hit that follow button to be notified when we go live. Method Black versus Tempo Storm is going to occur tomorrow. That's going to be a crazy awesome game as well. Both of those teams just so good. And then please sponsor us versus Method Orange after that. So that's going to be an awesome day of arenas, guys. Make sure you are right here at GCD TV to make sure to catch all of the action live. But that is going to conclude GCD TV Pro League Winter Tournament number 3, day 1.